On Friday, September 29th, Intrepid Studios held one of their monthly development live streams. This one in particular was showcasing the in-game event system out in the open world. The developers discussed the dynamic world state, player activity, and how events are triggered. They engage in combat while protecting a caravan from bandits and eventually facing off with a mini-boss. The event system is designed to be dynamic, with the difficulty adapting based on the number of participants. The developers also want to emphasize the importance of teamwork, strategy, and the rewards players can earn from these events. Let's talk about my key takeaways from this live stream. First up is the dynamic world state. Now, the game tracks player activity out in the open world, and events can be triggered based on various conditions such as player activity or world state. The example given in the live stream is them killing a bunch of spiders out in the open world, and then you actually see the on-screen HUD pop up showing that there is a new event started, and you can actually see the location of that on the minimap. Now, some of the other examples given of things that could trigger events would be relationships between nodes, active story questing going on, and other things like that. So this is actually a really interesting way, because in other games that have world event systems, they're pretty much static and they just kind of rotate. So there's not a whole lot of variety and flavor to how they kick off. So this is a fresh take on that, and I'm pretty excited to see how that works. The next big thing we're going to talk about is adaptive difficulty. Now, what this really means for us is as more players join the event, the difficulty is going to increase, introducing elite mobs and even mini bosses. Now, this is different from how world events have worked in other games. Like I said in the previous section, those tend to be static and the same, and if they do scale, usually that just means that the mini boss or whatever the encounter is scales with health and maybe damage, and that's really it. So it's really important that this actually factors in participation and how many players are actively engaged in it and being able to join in that, which is really cool. Now, during the live stream, they actually start off as a group of 4, and then throughout the encounter, more people actually are joining in, and it actually converts it into a raid group. And then you start seeing additional enemies come in, and then you also see the dialogue box on the right hand side of the screen update that there is a mini boss along with the first objectives that are listed. Now, the next part of this that I want to talk about is that the events actually do have stages. Now, in this example that they give during the live stream, the event is called The Hills Have Knives, and you can see at the beginning of it you have to kill 20 highwaymen, and when that progresses you actually get phased to the next section, which is actually a little bit of downtime where you're preparing for the next assault. And it's actually kind of nice that the actual on-screen display shows how much time you have left, how much health a mob has left for the overall objectives. You also see the caravan integrity and how many settlers are remaining. Some of these things actually stay active the entire time, whereas the bottom objective actually changes during it. The last part of this event is actually to defeat Corvin the Crusher, which is the mini boss of this particular one. Because there have been so many players that have joined into this event, it actually has spawned Corvin the Crusher, because now this event is a raid difficulty. So I think this is a pretty good take on allowing more players to join, and then also not just making it a face roll type of damage thing like you've seen open world bosses in other games. You need to do things, the objectives change, and the difficulty changes as well. I think that's actually an important thing to do with this. Another thing I think that is very important to how the event system is handled in this game is that the rewards are based on your participation. Now, there are other games that I have played personally, like Guild Wars 2, that also have a participation based reward system, but this one I think is going to be even more so important, because even in the demo here, they're showing that people are getting different items from their loot, not just experience and other things like that. They're actually getting items. So you may just come in at the last second and join it and get a tag or two, and you're not going to get as good of a loot drop as someone who's been there for the entire encounter and has been killing a lot of mobs or healing a lot of people or interacting as much. So I think this is also a very crucial thing into making the event system work very well for this game. Now, something else that's actually really cool with this is actually how the event system is going to integrate with story arcs that are in the game. So we've already talked about how events can be integrated with ongoing story arcs in the game, but that actually changes how the world reacts to us based on where we are in the story, where we are in the world, and things like that. So I think the way they're approaching all of this is actually really cool, because there's so many different factors that are contributing to these events and your experience as a player in the game. It's going to make the world feel more alive, and you're going to have more of a reaction to things that you do in the world, because if you go do this, these things are going to happen, and if you don't participate in that, then these things won't happen and you won't be able to participate in those. So I like that there's this living element to the world. It's not just go quest. I think that's actually really cool, and it's going to make you want to explore and go do more things other than follow this very linear quest line. Now, I know plenty of players have concerns about open world event systems because of games they've played in the past, where lots of people have joined, gone AFK, gotten a lot of rewards that way, and have not really participated, and it's really not made the game any more fuller as an experience. So it's one of those things I always like to say, time will tell. We as the players need to get our hands on this and really see how it works. The good thing is that all of these developers are MMO players, so they're drawing on their past experiences from other games, other things that they've liked, other things that they don't like, and I think it's going to create a superior experience in the long run, and I think we're all going to be able to enjoy something unique when this game finally releases. Speaking of which, it is awesome to see that we are going to finally be seeing Alpha 2 in 2024, which that should mean we might still see some spot testing here at the end of this year and rolling into the beginning part of next year. So again, time will tell on that. And as far as this video goes, I think the event system is looking really good, and I'm really interested to see all of these other interactions that can cause the events and how it actually shapes everybody's experience in this world. So with all that being said, let me know what you think about the event system in Ashes of Creation for what you've seen so far in this recap. Let me know down in the comments below what you think, and I will catch you all on the next video.